This week's exciting episode of Panel of Amateurs is not brought to you by Geek Fuel. Geek Fuel is your monthly mystery box of geeky goodness. Join tens of thousands of Geek Fuel members to get exclusive t-shirts, video games, toys, and collectibles, plus it's a $50 value on every box. You can go to geekfuel.com and start your subscription today. All right, don't forget we're still doing our giveaway. Once we reach 100 YouTube subscribers, and we're almost there, somebody's gonna get a gift card. Buy presents, a small present maybe with this gift card, or keep it for yourself. We'll be giving this gift card away to one lucky subscriber just in time for the holiday season. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share our podcast. Once we reach 100, one lucky fan is going to get that money.
All right, welcome to this week's episode of Panel of Amateurs. Happy early Thanksgiving to everyone. Thanks for coming around and listening while you're spending time with your family and watching the Macy's Day Parade. I'm assuming no one's going to listen to this on Monday. They're all going to wait till Thursday.
That's a perfect time to share it with all their friends and family.
Share it with all your friends and family. So if today's Monday and you're listening, go ahead and just pause right here so you don't miss out on anything, and then open it back up on Thursday and share it with all your friends and family while you're watching like the Macy's Day Parade and all the football games that are going to be on.
Or the perfect thing to do would be to listen to it today, and then on Thursday when you're with your family, have someone else open it up and they listen to it. You listen to it with them.
Yeah, you can say, oh, I heard this great thing on this podcast I listened to, and then you can share it. So never mind. Stick around. Today we're going to be talking about a couple trailers that came out, a new featurette for Rogue One, and the question of the week. Also, we're going to be playing a food-related superhero game. So stick around. Theme song goes here. Don't forget to put the theme song in. Terry, this week we had just released a new Kong Skull Island trailer. What did you think of that?
I thought it was really good. I can't say the entire time that I was watching it, I kept thinking, man, this would be really cool if he fought Godzilla. And then
wait, that's an actual film, right?
It's an actual.
It's old. It's an older, like claymation Godzilla versus claymation King Kong.
Yeah, they've done it once, but have you seen the most recent Godzilla? The most recent Americanized Godzilla?
The Matthew Broderick one?
No, not Jurassic Park 3.5.
Wait, no, yeah, there's the one.
Yes, there was the Matthew Broderick one.
Is there one after that?
He looked like a.
He looked almost like Inspector Gadget again.
And Godzilla looked like a dinosaur.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Godzilla turned out to be like a girl.
Yeah, and there was like laying eggs in the ocean and.
No, there was the most recent Godzilla is from like 2 years ago.
Oh, and it's just called Godzilla. It's not like that one was Godzilla 2000.
Yes,
because it came out in 2000. And everyone was like, the world's gonna end.
So we have to mark everything by the year now. But no, it was actually really well done, that Godzilla. So I'm interested. I'll be interested. And then I went online and found out that the plan is that they are existing in the same world. The company in the trailer, the company that is sending the research party team over to find Skull Island and King Kong, is the same company that does the research for Godzilla. Where I think in the trailer, this movie for King Kong Skull Island takes place in like the 70s,
like the 70s, yeah.
Like
it looks
that.
very like Vietnam. Also, they use like Vietnam era music, and so so late 60s, early 70s. It seems like
for the Godzilla, it was more present day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually probably more excited for the future movie, for the sequel between Godzilla and King Kong. But I think the trailer looked really good. One of the brothers from Step Brothers was in there.
Oh yeah,
and I thought that was the best part of the trailer. He was hilarious.
Yeah, he plays like a crazy guy who's been living on the island for a while. But how crazy is he if he can stay alive with these quote unquote savages that are around him? And he's got King Kong and a lot of other creatures. It looks like in the trailer there's a giant spider, there's giant lizard creatures, I'm not sure what they are, but
To me, this trailer looked better than the entire Peter Jackson King Kong from
I hate that
what
movie.
was that, 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's 11. It's 2005, so 11 years ago. Yeah, if as long as this film is not 3 hours long, and there's not, I mean, it doesn't. They're not going to take King Kong back to the city. It looks like from this trailer at least. So as long as we don't get another Empire State Building climbing and all that, we've seen that twice now. You know, we've seen it in the black and white, and now we've seen it Peter Jackson, and it didn't work well in 2005. So don't do it again. But
Thinking about the movie in 2005, and I know we're getting off topic here, but when they were cutting that movie down, if they had 3 hours worth of what they thought was good stuff, what did they cut out?
20 hours. I don't know.
Like, how much was, because that movie was not. We watched the trailer before the show.
We did.
And the trailer was ridiculously boring.
It was so boring. I don't know. I remember watching that trailer though in high school and thinking, "Oh, this looks like it'll be cool." But then I worked at GameStop at the time, and they had a game that came out at the same time as the film, and the part that we had of the game to try out was just you're King Kong and you were battling the two T-Rex on the island. And so I was thinking, this is going to be so cool. We're going to be watching them fight T-Rex, and it's going to be awesome. Well, then the game itself came out, and I played some of it, and it was just as bad as the movie was. It's not good.
One day we'll have to talk about, what movie tie-in games have actually been good. We'll save that for a different episode.
Spider-Man. Which we talked about one time.
Spider-Man 2, I think, came out on the PlayStation. I think that was the better one. Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2, one of those.
I know we've gone off topic. I'm even go further off topic. Did you realize that the font that they use for the Spider-Man franchise with Tobey Maguire is the same font that they use for like PlayStation 3?
Yes.
It's interesting. Just
because Sony owns PlayStation and they own the rights to Spider-Man.
But like they can't get creative and get a new font. Like there's like, oh, we have this font laying around. Let's just use it.
Use it.
Just keep
They're all about saving money.
They're like, we've already paid like $800 for this font. Might as well keep using it.
Didn't you hear about Warner Brothers the other day?
Yeah.
Hey, it's about making money.
Making money.
Speaking of, the guy who said all that, he actually is not. A couple weeks ago, we talked about how there was a report that the Batman script was in really big trouble.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the report said that the studio didn't care. They knew they were going to make the money anyway. The guy who said all that actually backtracked earlier last week and says that he apologizes. He didn't mean all that. He has no ends with Warner Brothers or anything like that. He actually directs YouTube videos.
Whoa!
So he did retract all that. So we found a way to get Batman back on the show again.
Every episode until it comes out.
And this way, we just want to make sure that we let our fans know that he says that he didn't mean all that. He was just talking.
So if you want to go back and listen to episode 6, I believe it is, that where we talk about that, go ahead. We won't mind if you listen to us again.
After you finish this one.
Right. So yeah, Kong looks all right. Moving on, a new trailer for Lemony Snikets, a series of unfortunate events, came out. They're going to be making Netflix series, quote unquote series, which really Netflix series are just long movies with intermissions so you can go to the bathroom because you know you're going to watch it all in one day anyway. Kind of like films from the 50s, like Dr. Dolittle had that big intermission in it. Mm-hmm. I think Chitty Chitty Bang Bang might have an intermission. The point is that Netflix original series are really just long films with intermissions that you can take a break.
Do you think because they didn't say when we were watching the trailer, it didn't tell whether or not it was like 13 episodes or it was just one movie.
Right. Broken up.
Do you think it's 13 episodes worth of story to tell?
I haven't read the books. I know that it is a series of books. But I also know that in the film that they made in 2005, 2006-ish, again, I only know that because the game came out when I was working at GameStop. that coincided with the film. But that film, from what I know, covered a large portion of what all the books covered. And I think it's a couple books long. So it's possible that it may only be like a 6-episode series.
And I'm okay with that because going back to our, I think, show number 2 or 3, where we talked about Luke Cage.
Oh, the second 3, episode 3. Yeah.
If Luke Cage would have ended at 6, 7 episodes, it would have been as close to perfect as it could have been.
Right, and left us hanging instead of giving us that full story that we didn't want.
13 episodes, they just drug it out too long. Mm-hmm. And I watched another show on Netflix called Black Mirror. I've been watching that.
Yeah, I started watching some episodes from that as well.
And although the shows don't tie together, there's some of the same technology. And I won't say much more than that because I don't want to give any spoilers away because it's a really good show. But they're not long, drawn-out seasons. I think the first season has 3 or 4 episodes. So does the second season. And then this last third season has 6, somewhere around in there, I believe.
Well, I think, and that comes from the difference between American television and British television. American television, we're used to having 24-episode seasons that last, September to May, and then we have the summer off. But most BBC shows are only 6 episodes long per season. So, or like Sherlock is 3. Yeah,
and I enjoy that.
Well, each one is 2 hours long though, so you're like watching 3 films. So that comes to a question of: is it better to have your story told in a short amount of time, but longer episodes, or is it better to have short episodes that last longer? Like, what will keep people's attention longer?
Well, you know what I and this just came to me. I really think that this lends itself to the shorter seasons or shorter seasons. It lends yourself to getting bigger stars to take on these.
Because you don't have to pay.
Because you don't have to pay for the long drawn out season, but you also, that star isn't tied up. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at some of those shows where they run 24 episodes or whatnot, those stars don't have much time to, if they want to get into movies or do another project, they don't have the time for that, which is why, once they feel like they've gotten famous, they start to leave. We talked about maybe Daryl jumping ship, and I know that's only Daryl from Walking Dead, Norman Reedus. I know that's only 16 episodes or so that they do. But
that he's still tied to a series at that point. Yeah.
But even that helps them not having to do 24, maybe holding on to him in that role as Daryl, because he still has some time to go and do other projects. So more about Lemoney Snikets series of unfortunate events. That was my only curiosity when I saw the trailer.
Well, and then the cast for this series is loaded. You got Neil Patrick Harris, Alfre Woodard is going to be in this one as well, which she was in Luke Cage, so she's kind of a Netflix go-to, I guess, star.
They do that a lot.
Yeah, they kind of do use the same character or actors for different characters. Also, Joan Cusack looks like she's playing a pretty important role. It looks like she's the judge that's over the placement of these children. If you don't know the story of Lemoney Snikets, basically these children, their parents were killed in a fire, and now they have to go live with their uncle, Count Olaf, who's a horrible person, and he's just trying to get the family fortune by taking care of these kids. But the kids are very intelligent, and they come up with all kinds of gadgets to get back at Count Olaf.
And in this version, Count Olaf is played by Neil Patrick Harris.
Correct.
Who you may remember from shows like Doogie Howser, MD, if you're really, really old.
Yeah, like us.
or most recently, How I Met Your Mother.
Or Harold and Kumar, Take White Castle.
Harold and Kumar, Take White Castle.
Or Go to
White Castle. They didn't take White Castle.
Oh, do they take Guantanamo Bay? I don't really remember. I didn't watch the second one. The first one was bad enough.
or were you inebriated?
Not inebriated.
Neither
Come on.
No, so if you remember in the movie version, it was played by
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. Netflix is one of those things. It's almost a perfect storm to put things on Netflix, because I'll watch stuff on Netflix that I would never watch anywhere else, just because.
Well, there's no commercials, so if you can start an episode and then you'll get through the whole thing and think, okay, well, this was good or it wasn't. Whereas, like, I started watching this show on NBC called The Great Indoors. Not a huge fan. I think I'm done watching it. But
since you roasted that show, this is the third.
Is it really?
This will be the third time that you've talked horribly about that show.
No, it's only the second time, I think.
No,
I feel
this is three. We've mentioned it. This is the third mention.
It's just not good. It feels like a 45-year-old man wrote the script and is trying to get back at young millennials that know how to use technology better than him. And he's like, oh, yeah, take that. I'll write a script, and then you'll look stupid, too. That's what it feels like. But the point is, it's hard to watch that show because there's commercials, and then I get distracted because it doesn't engage me enough to want to stick around after the commercial break.
Yeah.
So that is that kind of thread. But Lemony Snickets, it starts airing January 13th, which is a Friday. It's a little unfortunate for them. See what I did there? It's an unfortunate event.
That it's on January 3rd.
Friday the 13th. Yeah. Good job, Netflix. Keeping the pun.
Maybe they did that purposefully.
Oh no, they did. They're keeping the puns alive right there, because it's an unfortunate event that's happening on the Friday the 13th. Day. Yeah, unfortunate day. Good job, guys. Next we had. I'm gonna cut that out. So moving on, we had a featurette from Rogue One, a little bit of behind the scenes, not really any story added, just kind of like, hey guys, we're filming. Don't forget about us. I don't think anyone's ever going to forget that they are making a movie. But the thing is that it comes out in a month, so nobody's actually filming anything anymore. Like, they're all just in the editing room, and the audio guys are making sound effects, and the effects guys are staring at their Adobe Premiere screens and After Effects.
Bad news, though? I mean, normally when films start to release just too much, it's because, like, no one needs to tell you to get excited about Star Wars.
Right.
They could have released a trailer a year ago and nothing else,
and everybody would still
be excited about Star Wars. Like you said, there was no new scenes that I could tell that were in this featurette. You got to better look at some different aliens, stuff like that. You got to hear the director say why this series means so much to him.
Yeah, and some of the actors as well.
Some of the actors. But, I mean, I'm excited. Listen, I watch Star Wars fan films on YouTube. So to think that they could do... The movie could be bad, and we'll still all be in love with
We're
this
all
universe.
going to like it. I mean, let's look at Phantom Menace. The movie isn't great, but we stuck around, and we watched Attack of the Clones, and we watched Revenge of the Sith, and then we came back for Episode 7.
And people can... you hear all the comments about how bad the prequels are and things like that. I don't remember those same people when the prequels were being released.
Yeah, they were all excited. Everyone was
People
stoked.
were lining up, dressed up, ready to go. The toys were flying off the shelves. I mean, it sold a crap ton of toys. And that's what most of these movies are for, especially movies like this. A big part of their revenue is going to come from the toy sales and things like that.
Well, that's one
Not
of the...
that makes it a good movie, but...
Right, but that's one of the things that Star Wars innovated was the marketing afterwards. All of the die-cast toys that came out and everything. Before Star Wars, there wasn't a huge push for marketing your film characters in a physical world. That's one of the innovative things that Star Wars brings. Also, there's a sound things that they had and some effects that they innovated as well. But that's why now when a new Star Wars film is coming out, every third cereal box has a sticker from the new movie, or color changing lightsaber spoon or whatever, because the marketing push is so strong from George Lucas and his production company. So, but the featurette is fun. There was one shot, that you and I were talking about. It looks like an R2 unit. I'm just gonna assume it's R2D2. Maybe not. It was all silver, and like all the doors were opening and closing, and things were flipping around on it. Was that a practical effect, or was that a post put in? Like they put that in later on?
I think that had to have been post. But that brings up another question. Okay, so this is set between, and obviously we haven't seen the film yet, so we're just hypothesizing here. But this is set between episodes 3 and 4, but closer to 4, and they say that in the featurette.
Right.
Where is the R2 unit?
In episode 4, R2D2 is
with Leia.
With Leia on the ship.
So unless Leia's in this film, then that's not R2D2.
Well, also the coloring was definitely wrong. It looked like an unfinished version of R2D2.
Okay.
But as we saw in episode 1, a lot of the R2 units are the same cosmetically.
That also brings up another question. Shouldn't Leia be in this film?
Yeah, isn't she one of the rebel leaders?
Yes, she was one of the rebel leaders. And a big part of episode 4, or the beginning of episode 4, was her...
The fact that she has the plans.
The fact that she has the plans. So are we going to see maybe a handoff to...
You know what it's going to be? It's going to be a hand coming to the side of the screen and a white sleeve. And we'll be like, oh, that's Leia getting the plans. Or like a back shot of somebody with Leia buns on their head. I really hope that Leia buns are in this movie. And I mean hairstyle. Not Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Yeah.
Peter, they say if you let a person talk long enough, they'll tell you what they're really thinking. And you've been thinking about Leia buns.
Oh, man. It's a good thing my wife listens to this show.
So, taking Peter's mind off Leia buns and back to the actual story. I mean, they've de-aged actors and actresses in films before. They could... I think Leia we have to get some mention of her, because she plays in episode 4, it's set up for us to believe that she is a major player in the rebellion.
Right.
So...
But is she a major player politically or in a tactile role? Because it doesn't seem like she's in charge of any kind of militaristic movements. I think it's more a political thing that she's a head for. Okay,
so we know already that we're getting Jimmy Smits, who, if remember from episode 3, is her adoptive father.
Right.
We'd have to get some mention of his daughter or his family in some sort of way. I think we're gonna get a surprise Leia cameo. They've given us Darth Vader. They've given us Vader, but I think that's the tease.
So you think it's like how episode 7 we had in the trailer, Luke's cloaked figure touching R2.
Yep.
And we weren't 100% sure if that was Luke or if he was on the dark side or what was going on. And then at the very end, they were like, it's okay, Luke's just old and he's still good. No big deal.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a surprise Leia cameo. And maybe that's all it is, like you said, at the end of the episode or at the end of the movie. We see the handoff of the plans from one of the rebels to Leia, another rebel.
It will have to be from Jyn because she's like the main character.
Unless she's killed by Vader.
She's not gonna get killed.
If she will. In any room with Vader, I don't know how they're gonna do that. But if she gets into any room with Vader, she has to die.
Yeah, or with that scene that they keep showing where she's on what looks like the antenna of a ship or something, and a TIE fighter shows up. Like, what is she gonna do? Oh, I don't understand. She's not a Jedi. She doesn't have like a lightsaber. She's not going to force jump and then fly down through the glass of the TIE fighter with her lightsaber. Well, she's got a
We
blaster
probably should
by
have
her
saved
side.
all this for our Star Wars episode when we get closer. But my next question is, we're not going to get to anything else in the news. My next question is, Jen Erso has to, spoiler alert, but she kind of has to die because where is she in episodes 4 through 6?
Yeah. She, you know what they could rescue her father from the Death Star, and then she just says, I have what I need, and then leaves.
And we hear nothing. This movie basically says this is the turning point in the war for the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it seems like this is going to, where the rebels finally have a huge piece to the puzzle in defeating the Emperor. But you hear nothing about this in episodes 4 through 6.
It's in the scroll, man. It's in the scroll.
It is.
Rebel
okay.
spies get the plans. That's all you get to hear about it the rest of the time.
Yeah. So that's like saying there was a war in Iraq.
There was,
but I think there's a lot more history to it than that. There is a lot more history to it than that.
But they're not going to go back. I hope they don't go back and add Jen into the re-release of episode 4.
Remastered.
Yeah. The whatever comes out after Blu-ray will have like the ultraviolet ray video, and they're like, now the ultraviolet ray version of episode 4, and all of a sudden Jen Erso's just walking through Mos Eisley, and everyone's like, oh snap. No, that's not what we're gonna do. It's unnecessary.
All right. What else is in the news, Peter?
That's it.
No. What about the? Did you see the Justice League Dark trailer?
I did watch it. It was pretty dark.
So Justice League Dark, for those of you who don't know, is basically like Justice League except without Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, the Flash.
So it's like Justice League B class.
It's like Justice League magic. So you got characters in there that most of you may have never even heard of. Zatanna, John Constantine, Swamp Thing.
Except Batman is in the trailer. So
Batman is in the trailer because if you're Warner Brothers, you need Batman to sell everything.
That's true.
So that's why.
Or
if
you're a panel of amateurs, you need Batman in every episode. Yeah.
Maybe we should think about retitling the show.
Panel of Batman.
A panel of Batman amateurs.
Amateur.
And then
panel of amateur Batmans.
A panel of amateur Batmans, and we can do the show in Batman voices every week.
Everyone's gonna listen to the show now.
No one's gonna listen to the show anymore. They're probably turning it off right now.
We're the protectors of the night.
So, no, I mean, I think that with Warner Brothers or DC, they do these animated feature films really, really well. They just recently did Batman the Killing Joke. They've done Batman Under the Red Hood, which was really, really good. It told the story of Jason Todd, the Robin Hood fans who voted to have murdered, and in the panels of Batman, panels of a Batman comic, real people.
They voted
to kill off a teenager.
Kill him.
They disliked him so much they voted to have him murdered.
You know that you and I voted to have Chris from Fear the Walking Dead murdered, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Okay, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. That's a couple episodes back.
Don't tell me about that. Gosh, I was trying to make everybody else seem
horrible. Okay, but that kid was horrible in that show. It's not great.
He needed to go. He needed. That was. Oh my goodness, that was so bad. Don't even get me started. But no, if you compare like what DC is doing, if DC could only find the same magic that they have with. See what I did there? Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Justice League Dark. You're not the only one who can do that, Peter.
Yeah, I'm good.
If they could find that same type of magic that they find with their their cartoons, Justice League Unlimited, these feature films, if they could only find that on the big screen, Maybe they need to go to like Bruce Timm, who did
Do you
Batman the
think do you
Animated
think it's
Series, Superman
the
series.
story though that is what makes it good, or is it that in an animated series you have complete control of like physics and
Well,
like you can do anything because you're drawing it?
but you can do anything on film now, Peter.
That's true.
Like they're doing all the comic for every, when you picked up your toys and you and your family met up on Thanksgiving and you weren't playing video games like we're going to talk about next, and you were playing with your figures, and you go, man, I wish they could make a movie about
Yeah.
this. Like they can do that now.
that, yeah.
All the stuff that we thought about as kids, they can do that now. So that's not the issue. I think it's the team behind the animated division is better at telling these stories, and these are also more recently they're starting to hire people who've been in the comic book industry, writers,
Right.
artists, to come along and be involved in these movies. But they were already involved in the cartoon series, and I think that had played a big role in why the animated universe that DC has been
strong.
much better.
Yeah.
Now, the opposite side of that is Marvel is not so good at it, but they're better at making movies. So time will tell, but it's one that I'll be interested in taking a look at for sure.
Yeah.
And you can catch most of them if you're interested in any of those DC feature length animated films.
Yeah,
a
most
lot
of
of
them
them
are
are on Netflix.
Yeah.
You can go on and catch
The Killing Joke just got put up recently.
Yeah.
I saw that up there.
you can catch Flashpoint, the Flashpoint Paradox, where Flash goes back in the future and saves his mom instead of her dying, and how that changes the entire DC universe. Stuff like that. You can go on Justice League War. All those things you can find on Netflix. So I'd say if you're interested in comics and comic book movies, TV shows, stuff like that, go on and check those out because they do a really good job with those coming out from DC.
All right, well, that seems to be it for the news today. But I do want to give a quick shout out to, we're going to maybe do this segment every week. We'll see how this goes. But we're going to have 3 super fans this week. These are people that have shared our podcast on Facebook or Twitter and have either tagged us in it so that we can see it, or we've had some kind of notification of the sharing. So our first super fan is Cassie. Boop, boop, boop. We need to get better sound, man. I need to make a sound and put it on my phone and play it each time. Like I don't know.
I'm sure there's some soundboard.com we can go to and just get a random soundboards for each super fan each week.
This is what we'll do. This is our super fan music. All right, super fans. I know you guys all surf, so here's some. You're surfing the net. Decide to share our stuff. A little surf music. All right. Anyways, I don't know how that's gonna. We might cut that out. We might leave it. Who knows?
We're definitely leaving that in.
Anyway, so
Sometimes I just sit back
and just let me go.
and just let you go.
So this week our super fans are Cassie, Megan, and Thomas. Thank you guys so much for sharing our posts and our podcast on Facebook, so that not only people that are friends with us, but friends of yours that are not friends with us, non-mutual friends, that they can experience.
But they're amateurs all the same, so
Yeah.
share with every amateur you know.
Every amateur needs to be a part of our panel. So thank you guys so much for sharing that. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the question of the week. Now, last week we asked you guys, what is your favorite 2-player competitive game? So when you get together with your family, like on Thanksgiving, if you were going to play a game, that's horrible. If you were going to get together with your family, say on Thanksgiving, and you were going to play a game with them, what 2-player or multiplayer competitive game would you pull out? So we're going to go over those answers now.
Well, last week we started with us first. That way we can get our answers out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
What is when you go home this week to see your family, somebody pulls out a video game or a board game, because we got some board game answers. What is your family going to pull out?
I don't even know.
Peter doesn't know. Well,
No, I know. Well, actually, my family's coming to my house for Thanksgiving this week. So
what did you all used to?
we used to. We're kind of boring sometimes, and we play Hot Shots Golf 4,
Okay.
which is there is a competitive nature to it. It's a really relaxed competitive feature, but also we played a lot of Halo.
Yeah, see, my
Yeah.
family was more sports oriented, so and not necessarily just on Thanksgiving, but Madden, NBA Live, when that was big, NBA 2K now, those were games that we grew up on and competing in. It was a big thing. My uncle was a huge Madden fan and introduced us all to Madden really. And a big part of growing up for us was who would get good enough to beat my uncle in Madden. And it was a big deal when one of my cousins got good enough to actually challenge him, because he would basically use us for practice
Right.
to play other people until, like I said, until we started to get to the point where we got good enough. Those are memories, not just for Thanksgiving, but in general. Just remember playing Madden with my uncle growing up, to see who would eventually get good enough to beat him.
Yeah, and then I think also we played a lot of racing type games. We played like Need for Speed Underground was a big one for a while, Underground 2, and then for everyone that comes to my house now, we play Burnout 3. If you ever played the Burnout games, the point is that you're supposed to destroy each other. So not only is there a racing aspect, but we're also crashing into each other, and that actually turns into crashing into each other in real life, like hitting each other, like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Like, quit it, because that's what brothers do. We hit each other.
And like for Need for Speed, stuff like that, the best part was always like the police chase. I never actually wanted to do the races and stuff like. I just wanted to see who we time each other and see who could last the longest without getting caught. I do the same thing in like Grand Theft Auto. If I'm tired of doing the missions, I just see how much stuff I can destroy before I get caught by the police. But no, those are sports games. Just about everything you could find. NBA Jam, NBA 2K, NFL, base MLB, anything related to sports and video games, we were competitive at. Monopoly, if we're talking about board games, was, I mean, we would only play Monopoly every so often because it was a 4-hour, 6-hour battle. We took Monopoly seriously.
Before we get into Monopoly, just want to point out that Jed on Facebook commented that his family plays Monopoly, and we should talk. He said you should talk about Monopoly and how it divides families. So my question first, before we get too much into this, is what rules did you guys play by? Like free parking, what does that mean?
Free parking to us was just that, like, so if you had to pay a penalty or a tax, money went under there. If you landed on it, you got the money that was under free parking.
Did you know that's not an actual rule?
I do know that that's not an actual rule.
Yeah, that's what we play is too, is that, all the penalty money goes to whoever lands on free parking, and that makes the game last so long. Like you said, 4 to 5 hours.
But what also extended it is we played where you couldn't buy a property until you made it around the board once. And really, in the rules, technically, every rule of Monopoly is a rule because it says at the end of the rule book that you can make up whatever rules you want in your household. Therefore, they're all rules.
Oh, yeah. There's so many different ways to play Monopoly. I think
you're actually supposed to auction off the property that somebody lands on, like let everybody get a chance to bid on it. I've never played that way. And I met someone who did, and what are you doing? This is not where did you grow up? Because you didn't grow up in America. Because in America, we don't play that way.
We don't auction off our land. If I want Baltic Avenue, I'm going to get it because I paid for it. Because America, I paid for it. So there are actually multiple articles online, different ways to improve Monopoly by playing differently. There's Monopoly Extreme, and I haven't read it yet. It's a very long article. I don't know how extreme it is. Maybe it's like when you get around the board, you have to jump off the roof or something. That sounds extreme. I don't know. Oh wait, see, the first rule is the one that we've already talked about, the free parking rule, and it says unless the person who lands in free parking has double the pot in cash, in which case he is fined the value of the pot. Holy cow! So if you land on free parking and whatever's in the middle, say it's $1,000, and you already have $2,000, then you are fined $1,000. That's intense, man.
That is. We never played that.
I never played like that. Landing on go. Oh, if you land on go, what did your family do? Like you didn't pass it, you landed on it.
We had so many debates and arguments over that because the line of thinking, or my line of thinking, is I'm going to pass it unless I stop playing right now. I'm going to pass it. So give me my money.
Right.
Give me my money. And then you had others.
So you guys just did the $200 then?
Yes.
If you landed on go? So our family, if you land on go, you get $400.
Oh, no. See, we never did that.
You get extra money for landing on go.
What about landing on jail?
Oh, then you're just visiting. It says on the outside, just visiting.
I know.
But we never had anything weird with that one.
Because I know some people that play where if you land there, you're in jail.
Really?
Then you have to use your get out of jail free to be just visiting.
Really? That sucks. Yeah, I know that there's a version called Mafia Monopoly where you don't like talk the whole game. You can just like write notes to each other and like make alliances and like slip money in your notes to other players and like trade things without people looking, and it's very sneaky.
I can remember one time I got so mad playing Monopoly because I was playing Monopoly with a friend, and it was I was there with their family, so they all had these pre-built-in alliances.
Right.
So like if I have certain properties that I like to buy, and every time I play, that is my same strategy. I'm going for those properties,
Which
and I will
ones
make
are they?
deals. I can't tell you that,
Like
Peter.
Marvin Gardens that you're looking at?
Peter, I'm not telling you what properties those are.
Because
One day
Marvin
we'll-
Gardens is definitely one you need to take.
One day we will play Monopoly, and I will have to use this strategy to beat you. So I can't give you time to prepare.
And that'll be the end of Panel of Amateurs.
That'll be the end of Panel.
We'll fight so much.
So I was trying to make a deal to get this property. I was offering well above the value and other properties to go with it because that's how badly I wanted this property. They would tell the person who I was making the deal with over and over again how bad the deal was, and you shouldn't do that. And they would talk them out of the deal. I said, "Nope, I'm done. I can't play with it. Either they're gonna make their own decisions or I'm gonna walk."
Yeah.
And I was done. Can't play anymore. Can't play with you.
And that's what happens when you play Monopoly, is that people, they get invested, which is, it's silly. It's a board game. I mean, and I'll say it's about video games too. People get invested and it's kind of silly. But if, for instance, well, in a video game, if I made it really far and then my game got deleted, I'd be really mad. But in Monopoly, people want to win so bad. And I don't know why, because this game is about, it's about like 1920s, the Great Depression, and how hard it is to get a house and how hard it is to create a business during the time. But we don't think about that. We just think about control. And that's what people want to do. They want to control the whole board and get all the money. And so it's a reflection of their personality in real life.
Did you ever have any? I had a cousin who used to tuck money away. If they knew we were going to play, they would take money out beforehand. And they got caught one time. But he would hide money. So he would just keep coming up with $100 bills. We were like, wait, you only get this many at the start.
Yeah.
And you haven't passed go that many times.
That's okay. Cheaters, man. Cheaters. So, and then one last rule that I play by, I don't know if you do. What happens if you roll doubles 3 times?
You go to jail.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, maybe we can actually play, because it sounds like the rules that we play are pretty close. We'll be okay.
This whole question, we should have just asked, what are your favorite Monopoly rules?
Yeah, we should have just done a Monopoly segment. We already did, I guess. And then I just want to throw in as well, games that destroy families. Risk. Real quick story about Risk in my family. it's one that we play a lot when we get together as a family. But when I was probably, I want to say 12, my next brother would be 10, and the next brother I was playing, he was 8. There's 3 of us playing. I accused one of them of cheating by dropping the dice a certain way, and instead of rolling them. And he, obviously rebutted, no, I didn't cheat, whatever. Our scuffle ended with a pair of scissors in the door because they had gotten thrown at one person threw a pair of scissors at the other person, and it got stuck in the bedroom door. So Risk is also one of those games.
Risk almost sent someone in your household almost caught a manslaughter charge. Game of Risk.
He was cheating. Okay, Terry. He was cheating.
I take it,
Eli, you were cheating.
I take it from that story. You were the thrower of the scissors.
Eli, I know you're listening to this podcast, and I'm not sorry. Okay, I am sorry. We've grown up, man.
On the scissor throwing.
Just don't cheat at Risk, Eli. We'll be good. Okay.
Yeah, listen, Eli. I'm gonna have to side with Peter on this one. Dropping the dice is not rolling the dice.
Exactly.
Or the people who used to roll so hard. I hate
those people that across the room.
They go across. Like, come on, man, control your roll.
Yeah, like it's not going to be any better if I have to chase it down and find out what it is. Oh, what if a dice falls off the table and lands like on the carpet? Your carpet's softer, or like right against the table leg, and it's on the freaking corner. What do you do?
If it wasn't on the board, it didn't count.
Okay, good rule. I like that one. All right. Well, this has been fun. Let's move on to the rest of the answers.
Let's give the answers. Peter and I are done with our stories. Let's hear from from the amateurs out there what games destroyed their families.
Well, yeah, I guess that's what we're talking about in a roundabout way. So we have Linda who said her family is playing World of Warcraft, but they're playing on the PvP server, so they're playing against each other.
Okay.
World of Warcraft, if you don't know, is a MMORPG with fantasy characters. Has been around for 10, 11 years now, I think we're at. No, it's been 10 years was in 2014, so we're at 12 years now. So a long-lasting game. Next we have Megan. Megan, one of our super fans, she commented that they play Mortal Kombat and they get super competitive. This is what I'm imagining is that they're playing Mortal Kombat and somebody in real life is like, get over here, and like grabs another person, and then they drop the controller and lose, and then they get really mad about it. That's what I'm imagining is happening in her house.
Were you ever able to do the finishers on Mortal Kombat?
I could do Luke Cage, the bicycle kick one, because you just hold block and you press down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, like in a circle twice, and then let go, and you could do it. I was able to do, and this is Super Nintendo version.
I'm just saying,
I could do
Mortal Kombat,
a couple of them.
You got to make those simpler.
Yeah.
Because most of us would hit a bunch of buttons, they wouldn't do anything, we'd get close enough, and then
the guy just falls over. And then
or he just fall over.
And you're like, oh, that was anticlimactic. I think in
Mortal
Kombat X, the new one, I think they are simpler. But they're also a lot more brutal. It's interesting. I liked the Sega version that had like babyality and friendship. Did you see those?
Yes,
yeah, this is the best.
Those.
Babyality.
What about like Tekken? I don't know if anybody remember. It came out when like PlayStation 1 came out.
Right.
It was their big
arcade battle.
Battle fighter. Yeah. I used to love Tekken.
Yeah, it's good. Eddie Gordo.
I can't remember what the character's name was, but it was a guy who looked like Bruce Lee, and he did this kick where he would like kind of run up your chest, kick you in the face, flip back off you. It's the best thing in the world. Cool. I used to love Tekken.
Yeah, I liked Eddie Gordo because he was a breakdancing fighter, so he did like capoeira, the Brazilian dancing fight, jiu-jitsu. Yeah, and he was the best. It's not jiu-jitsu.
We're probably completely wrong on all of it.
It's capoeira or capoeiro. Anyways, it's a dance fighting style. And so in the game, you would be breakdancing and just like kicking your opponent's butt. And then your brother's like, stop doing the same move. Stop. What are you doing?
I think you've run into that in Tekken, Street Fighter. Because once you learn a move that they can't figure
dude,
out.
Street Fighter. Who's the guy who has his legs and arms extend? He's like the Indian. Yeah.
Sagat, or however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Sagat, if you're listening, which we know you are. Down in the comments, let us know how we pronounce your name. That way we want to get it right for you and for the fans.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we're pronouncing your name correctly.
There was a ban on using that character, though, in my house. You can't use him because you can't get close to him. He's punching you from far away. It's kind of a messed up move. But also in Mortal Kombat, Scorpion can jump through the left side of the screen, come back in the right side of the screen, kick you in the head, and then go back. And so could Raiden, too.
My favorite character on Mortal Kombat was Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
If you couldn't dodge that ice blast, I was going to ice blast you to death.
There's so many times. I think I played Scorpion the most, though. We have so many more answers, though.
Who else gave answers?
We got Glenn. Says that he and his roommates have been playing StarCraft against each other. Also, CSGO, which is Counter-Strike Global Offensive, if you don't know what CSGO is. Which is a first-person shooter online. StarCraft is a real-time strategy game where you're in space and you're strategically destroying each other. And he also said Left 4 Dead. I didn't know that Left 4 Dead had a versus.
I think just about every game now has an online multiplayer.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was all team-based, though. I don't know. I've only played Left 4 Dead a couple times.
You should check out some of the Left 4 Dead modded videos, where they've turned into like Scooby-Doo characters and Teletubbies. Some of the stuff is actually pretty hilarious.
I'll check that out for sure. And then we have Alan. And Alan has a couple of answers. And then he also has some suggestions for topics in the future. So we'll talk about that off air. I forgot to tell you about that before we started. But moving on, he said his family's been playing 1080 snowboarding, which is N64.
Yep, I remember that game.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater, pretty much anything with that's extreme sports games. Also, Forza Motorsport 6 and Diddy Kong Racing. So his family's it's kind of the same line in his mind with either extreme sports or racing games. Those seem to be some of the easier ones to do. When it comes to competitive. We have two more. We have Ben, who said he's not really into competitive gaming, but he does want to play UFC Undisputed 3 against one of us.
He would win.
Yeah, I know.
If I picked it up today, it'd be the first time I picked it up.
Yeah. And then we have Superfan Thomas, who said, "Oh, come on, Super Smash Brothers, hands down." I did recently play Super Smash Brothers against my brother, and I won because I was Yoshi, and I could just eat people on the edge of a map and then make them into eggs and fall off the map. They couldn't do anything about it. So it's kind of a cheap move. Again, quit doing the same move, man. What are you doing? Stop. Tell Mom. That's how it always goes. I'm going to tell Mom. Oh, man.
I think the best part of like Thanksgiving now is that you go and you get you get this younger generation of, your 12-year-old, your preteens, teenage cousins who are like, let's pick up some Madden. Let's play Street Fighter, or these games that they think that they've invented.
Yeah.
And they go, I've been playing this for 20 years.
Yeah, don't worry. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. And then they get destroyed and it's, well, I just didn't have my buttons right.
my joystick was inverted, man. It was inverted.
Let me play with the other controller.
Yeah, the other controller. They're all the same. They're all the same.
That was the number one excuse of something's wrong with my controller.
I'm sure that I've used that excuse though. Like, oh man, the stupid A button's stuck, man. I don't know.
So we want to thank everybody again for all of your answers. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. As we said last week, the show is called Panel of Amateurs, but and when we say amateurs, we mean all of you out there, all of our fans. You are all amateurs, and you are all a part of this panel. So we love to continue to get all of your answers in for every question of the week. We also want to make you all a part of the show even more. We're going to start asking you to come up with the questions of the week. We usually post our episodes on Monday. We will, when we send out a request for questions of the week from you all. We'd like to get them in by Tuesday, Wednesday, so that way we can post the question to everyone on Thursday. We will let you know later on this week. You know it's Thanksgiving, and you'll be sharing it with your friends and family. So think of things that you would want your answers you could get from your friends and family, and we can all come up with a question together. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our podcast on Facebook. We're on SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah.
Share with everybody.
So many things.
There's so many things. One of the best parts of the show is the question of the week. We get so many amazing answers.
And it's always really fun to talk about, too. What your guys' answers, they're always really either spot on or just like really fun things to talk about, which is good for us because think how boring this would be if your answer was like, oh, my favorite competitive game is craps. No, there's this game.
I bet you there is some family out there that they get
play
into
craps
fights every Thanksgiving over craps.
Okay, wait. There's this game that we played as kids that you have 2 miniature pig figurines and you put them in a cup and shake them, and then you drop it out, and whatever like formation they're in is like you get scores, and there's like a whole chart for it. It's a real game. I'm gonna find it on the internet, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, you're right," and not wrong, and yeah. But that's the game I was trying to think of.
So, and I know somebody in my family out there is going to be, you didn't even talk about spades.
Pass the Pigs. That's what it's called. It's a real game.
Pass the Pigs is a real game. Yes, we played spades a lot on Thanksgiving when families got together. But there was usually a lot of other things involved with that. So that's why I didn't mention it, family members. And this is a family show.
It's a family show. All right. So.
And I only get one curse word an episode, and I've been saving them up.
He's going to use them all. Episode 10. Boom. The curse bird bomb. Anyway, moving on to the fun part of our show, the meat of the show today.
That wasn't the fun part?
I don't know.
That was pretty freaking
I don't
fun.
know. That was awesome, man. I really like that question. I'm glad we came up with that. But this week, it is Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday. And so Terry has devised a game for me to play. This is food-related superheroes. There's a list out there of actual superheroes that are food-related. But Terry is going to give me a name of one of these superheroes, and I have to determine, is it real or fake? Now, I have to know, what am I playing for? Because how hard should I try on this?
You should try really hard.
Okay.
You're playing for fame, and for the commenters not to go, Peter, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I like my pride. I like this.
You're playing for fame and pride.
Okay.
All right, so Peter, the first superhero on our list, real or fake?
Real or fake?
For you to guess. Have you ever eaten the snack combos?
I've seen them.
They were like pretzels stuffed with like cheese or pizza,
right?
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen them at the store, but I've never actually eaten one.
Did you know there was a superhero called Combo Man?
Combo Man, real or fake?
Based on that food, maybe.
I want him to be real because then he has all his combos. And then he like fights where he's like pizza attack with a pretzel, or like lemon juice and a pretzel attack for your pain. I don't know. Let's see. What kind of powers does he have?
Everything.
Everything? No.
Combo Man was actually a real comic book character.
Yes, it's real.
Brought out by Marvel Comics, it was basically an ad for these combos. Combo Man could do anything. Shoot webs like Spider-Man, shoot I-beams like Cyclops, fly like Iron Man, light himself on fire like the Human Torch. He was a combination of
everything.
Everything.
Does that
So
mean
he
that
had-
there's a combo snack of like pickles and peanut butter?
Probably not yet, but I'm sure somebody will.
Yeah.
Have you seen those Lays? The Lays where they let you pick
Yeah.
a flavor now? I'm sure they'll come up with something.
The flavors this last time through were pretty bad. We always try them. We always say, "Oh, we're gonna give it another chance this year," and they're just never good. Like, the one that was good was like 3 years ago, and I don't remember what it was, but I just remember thinking, "Oh, this is actually pretty tasty," but not like this year. It was just not good at all. The point is that we're playing a game, though.
The point is that we're playing a game.
Let's get back. All right, so I have 1 point.
1 point. Number 2 on the real or fake hero list. Etta Candy.
Etta candy.
Yes. Like ETTA candy. Like eat a candy, but Etta Candy.
And sounds like a female superhero.
Maybe.
I mean, sounds like my Aunt Etta. I don't have an Aunt Etta, but
Or it could be your Uncle Etta. Maybe.
maybe. It's 2016. Did you just assume a gender? Come on, what's wrong with you? Me talking to myself.
It could be an alien.
I think Etta Candy is fake. I think you made that one up.
Bop, bop, bop. No.
Oh,
She
what?
is real. She's
real?
Wonder Woman's sidekick. You've actually seen her in the new trailers.
No way.
Yes, she is the little redheaded lady at the end of all of the recent Wonder Woman trailers.
Oh my gosh.
It's Wonder Woman's sidekick. All right, so 1 for 2 at this moment.
All right.
I don't think Etta's superpower was eating. She didn't really have powers. Her superpower was that she was kind of chubby.
I can eat everything, including you. She eats the bad guy.
So, moving on. We're 1 for 2 now. Let's see. Let's test Peter's non-comic book or comic book knowledge. Egg Foo,
Egg Foo
real or fake?
is real. He's a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
No, we're talking about superheroes.
Oh.
And Barbera cartoon. Egg Foo, the superhero or supervillain?
Yeah, I think it's real still. I think he's a real character.
Egg Foo is real. He actually killed Wonder Woman at one point.
What? That's cool. I mean, it sucks. I'm looking up an image of him. Oh my gosh. That is so racist.
It is deplorably racist. If you want to go look it up, you can find any pictures of Egg Foo online. It is deplorably.
This is like Breakfast at Tiffany's bad, man. With Woody Allen. No. What's that guy's name? Woody Allen's not that old. I can't remember. But they have a Japanese character played by a white guy, and
Yes,
he's super over the top. That Egg Foo is that. Wow. Well, there's a newer Egg Foo who's less racist. That's cool. He looks kind of like a Thanos.
I think they're just about every comic book character that was created pre-1990
Yeah,
is a tad bit of a mockery of the race that
That it
they are
comes from.
portraying. So, they weren't very socially conscious when they were
Yeah.
creating characters towards the beginning of comic book days. All right. So what are we? 2 for 3 now?
2, yeah. I
2
got
for 3. You're at a
two-
solid 66%.
Yes, that's a D. It's passing.
Should I try to stump Peter? Peter, Jello Man.
I feel like yes, Jello Man is real, and he is like a marketing campaign for Jello, not the Bill Cosby marketing campaign, which they can never show again, but he's a different campaign.
Jello Man is actually real.
Yes,
And he had a sidekick dog named Wobbly. And it was part of a campaign. It was a Jello campaign with DC Comics, where they came out with Jello Man.
They really could have come up with a better name. Like, maybe he could have been a villain. He could have been like the Jiggler, and he just like dances around all day.
Jello Man and Wobbly.
Oh, wow. It's like a really bad version of Gumby.
With Jello.
With Jello. That's interesting.
And a dog named Wobbly.
Wobbly. Okay.
Okay, so moving on. Next on our list.
Wait, how many do I have to get to win?
What are you at? 3 for 4?
Yeah, 3. I missed one.
75%. Let's at least get you to a decent grade at at a major university. Let's get you to a B.
Okay. So if I get,
which I actually C at most universities is, hey, I made it.
Yeah.
So you're doing good.
So if I get this next one, then I win. If I don't, we try again.
If you get this next one, you're good. If you don't, we got to keep going.
Okay.
So do you want? I'll ask you. Do you want a hard one?
Yeah, make it difficult. Let's see. Let's see if I can outsmart the great Terry.
If you can outsmart the great Terry.
Slash the internet that he's using.
Slash the internet that I'm using to look up most of these that I've never heard of. Or not heard of. Or maybe I'm just eating them. See what I did there? Eating them up. Let's just see. Matter Eater Lad.
Matter Eater, like MADDER, like he's upset?
No, like matter, like he eats matter.
Oh, he eats matter. Okay. I feel like you made that up, like radioactive man kind of thing, like The Simpsons.
You'd be wrong, because Matter Eating Lad is actually a DC Comics character.
Well, that's not nice.
And somebody's gonna go, well, that's not food. Well, it's food related.
Yeah,
because
food related
eats stuff.
Matter Eating Lad. So he just eats anything that's matter.
So he can eat an incredible amount of anything, and that's his power.
I thought that was Etta Candy's power.
Yeah, he can eat anything though. Etta kind of eats candy and junk.
And food.
His power is that he has a ridiculously high metabolism, so he can eat an incredible amount of anything matter related.
Well,
There's been stories of him eating a huge stockpile of sticks and rocks.
For what reason?
And at one point, Superboy even punched through his bottomless gut in a comic story, according to this article. So, Matter Eating Lad. I'll count that as a win for me. So we can stop playing the game. And just say I won on that note. No, actually, Peter did really well. There are a lot of videos online about the silliness of certain comic book characters. For instance, the top 5 food-related comic book characters out there. You can find videos by Scott over at NerdSync. There are articles online about it if you're interested. With the theme being Thanksgiving this week, if you're looking for something to take to a Thanksgiving get-together, why don't you just Google superhero-themed foods? And there are a lot of great recipes out there. Peter, what are you going to enjoy eating the most this week?
I will be eating the Thing yams. Candied yams, but they're like the Thing because they're orange and segmented.
I see what you. That was pretty clever, Peter.
Yeah, I came with that really quick.
You
actually
did. I didn't really think that through when I asked you that question because I had nothing. I'm gonna be eating the Sandman stuffing because it's kind of gray and it looks like stuffing. There you go.
Yeah, well, we are gonna be eating a big plate of vulture. See, I did there.
See,
a little more Spider-Man references.
Got you there.
Yeah.
I like a little Parasite on my gravy and mashed potatoes, meaning cranberry sauce that I don't actually eat. But hey, it works because it's purple and the Parasite is purple.
Yeah, I can see. Okay. Yeah.
Or I could have said the blob juice because the blob and
Yeah. There you go. There we go. And since we are in the Ozarks, somebody's definitely gonna be eating Squirrel Girl, because people eat
squirrel and raccoon,
raccoon.
and rabbit
Yeah,
and deer. There'll be a lot of deer.
a lot of deer.
A lot of deer.
Hunting season is definitely in full swing.
So there'll be a lot of processed deer this week. We hope that you all enjoy your Thanksgiving. Be safe. Enjoy your family. Listen to the show with your family. Next week, we'll be discussing more of the latest news. We'll have another question of the week, possibly thought up by you guys out there. We don't have any more. We don't have a film to review next week, so we'll probably come up with some other zany game or something. We'll have something to discuss.
We'll definitely have
next
something
week.
to discuss.
Join us back next week. Don't forget about our gift card giveaway. Also, comment below on today's episode. Like, share, subscribe. YouTube, Panel of Amateurs, and our Facebook and Twitter at Panel of Amateurs. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Terry.
And I'm Peter.
We'll see you next week. Hey amateurs, if you're interested in watching any of the trailers that we've talked about today or on previous episodes, you can find them in our movie trailers playlist. And if you missed any episodes of Panel of Amateurs and you want to catch up, you can find them in our Panel of Amateurs episodes.